G'day, watch this.
Piers Akerman is a leading Australian journalist and editor. He had edited the Herald Sun in Melbourne and the Daily Advertiser in Adelaide. He's been a significant force in the media in Australia and overseas. A matter of particular interest to him has been a Queensland matter called the Heiner affair. It is something which has continued to be a big issue in that state, in Australia and overseas, for a number of years. I asked him to explain what the Heiner affair is, how it's relevant, and what are the latest developments. Here is his answer.
Well, boiled down, David, it's a very, very simple matter. 22 years ago, the Queensland Goss government, a Labor government, curtailed an investigation into child sexual abuse taking place in Queensland. That investigation was being run by a former magistrate named Noel Heiner. Now, one of the issues that Heiner heard evidence about was the rape of a 14-year-old Aboriginal girl. So I suggest if we say that the initial rape occurred in 1988, there was an investigation into child sexual abuse in the Queensland juvenile justice system, and that was conducted by Noel Heiner. The Goss government shut down the inquiry and in 1990 shredded all of the documentation that Heiner had assembled, including the documentation about this particular rape, among other issues. Now, when the Queensland Goss government shredded that material, it's alleged, and I believe that substantially it's proven that members of the cabinet and the public services involved knew that the material comprised evidence. They had foreknowledge of cases that were going to flow from that material. Now, under, I think, Section 179 of the Queensland Criminal Justice Act, it is a criminal offence to knowingly destroy material when there is a foreknowledge or even an apprehension that it may be wanted in a further matter, in a further court case. So this is at the heart of it. Now, for the last 22 years, subsequent Queensland state governments and members of the Labor Party have been in a denial and in a cover-up mode over this issue. There have been approximately 4 inquiries at which aspects of the shredding have been touched upon, but none of them have ever been completed. And in fact, 2 of the federal government inquiries, one into whistleblowing, for example, which was run by or chaired by Senator Jocelyn Newman, the current Queensland Premier's mother, recommended unanimously that the Heiner affair be given its own special independent Royal Commission of Inquiry. Now, to date, we haven't seen that. It's included peripherally as one of the topics which can be addressed under a commission which was set up in late June by Campbell Newman in Queensland under Commissioner Tim Carmody. But already I have a problem with Carmody acting as commissioner in this matter, as he was previously served as head of the Queensland Crime Commission, and in that role he was presented with material relating to the Heiner affair, and he took no action, even though he had standing authority to issue a reference on any matter relating to what was called criminal pedophilia. Now, I'm unaware that any form of pedophilia has actually been legalised in Queensland or any of the other states in the Commonwealth, but that's the peculiar name. So look, this thing is moving to slowly and slowly. There have been several recusal motions lodged which Commissioner Carmody rejected, and in his decision he offered a very, very narrow view of what constitutes government, and when he said that it was actually the Premier and Cabinet. Now that's at odds with the widely used handbook on public service protocol, of course, which indicates that government is every arm, every commission, and every department, whether it's the police force or the fire brigade, or so on. These are all constitute government, and Commissioner Carmody's decision on his own involvement may well be the subject of an appeal soon.